All right, I guess I gotta finish this happy horse shit. 'Cause I ran out of time last one. I really resent having to do this stupid shit. Because it's just all obvious crap and it's been out there forever and everybody fucking lies about it. And it's been getting lied about it for so fucking long. It's like everybody just running around like, fuck the country, fuck the world, fuck the future. We got to keep lying about this because if we don't, the dominoes start tumbling. Everybody, like all the people that deserve their shit to hit the fan, will hit the fan. And, well, they're just not they're the kind of people throw you in jail to make you take responsibility for your fuck ups. But they're like, but we're the people that throw you in jail. We're the ones that make the rules, not the ones that follow them. You know, it's like, so how would that look anyway? It would make the country look bad if, like, we had to lock up all these people at the top of the fucking, authoritative, justice, democratic food chain. It'd make it look like democracy don't work well. It don't look like it works anyway right now. I mean, the problem with democracy is there's more dumbbells than smart people. See, it works for a while because the smart people get fed up with idiots and they overthrow them and have their civil war, whatever they do, and they install democracy. And then the smart people run the democratic country and it does well for a while. But see, then all the smart people, now that they've got their freedom, they start building industries, start building Tesla and oil industry and building railroad. They start getting real shit done and they let the B and C students run the government. And well, see, there's more C and D students than anybody else. Like in a high school, there's definitely more B, C, and D students than A students. And that becomes the problem of democracy. Is when the dumbbells figure out, wait a minute, there's more of us, and it's like we can finally show them smart people what for. Because like they might be smart, they might be able to tell us everything we don't know. But if we take over the government, we can tell them what to do. We can be the bosses. Get the last laugh. And it's like, and even that shit, until them people become corrupt, until they forget they're the dumb people, and then they start sanctifying themselves, like, you're walking around like we're us and you ain't. Yeah, well, we're the ones in control. We're the ones that, like, they start thinking that actually the fact that they can go around bullying the smart people and they're dumb people, that makes them even smarter. They get this big chip on their shoulder, and then that's one skip away from, well, if we're this good, then we should get lots of free stuff. But the smart people are too stupid to just give us the free stuff. So, well, we know we deserve it. We'll just go behind the scenes and take what we want. We'll come up with ways to get lots more money than them doing nothing. I mean, why should we have to? We already know how smart we are. We know if we put our minds to it, we'll be better. We already know how much better. So why don't we just pay ourselves up front? Because it's really kind of beneath us to get out there and try really hard. So that's how you wind up with what you got now. And then the smart people are like, what the hell? And then the smart people are like, we got to fix stuff. And then the dumb people say, See, we knew you were smart. See, smart people don't know they're smart. They think everybody is smart. They think everybody's like them. And they'll sit there and talk, and they piss off the dumb people because dumb people don't know what they're talking about, but they don't know that the dumb people don't know what they're talking. They don't know they're pissing them off. They think, I'm smart, you're smart, we're intelligent human, everybody's fucking smart. But the dumb people, they know they're dumb. Because they don't know what the fuck the smart people are talking about. The smart people are always over their head, but they don't tell the smart people, you're smarter than us. Because they hate the smart people. Well, women hate men. Men got upper body strength. And they got to get the man to take out the trash. You got to get the man to reach up and get the thing off the top shelf. They hate that shit. The dumb people hate the smart people. But you see, luckily, dogs don't think like that. And they always love us no matter how smart or stupid we are. It's like, but we're not. We're intelligent, So we get to go around with all this shit underneath our craw. All right, I'll just go on and on. So any fucking way. Where were we? Let's refresh. You got the old Chandra Levy disappears. And everybody's blaming Gary Condit. What do you know about it? Why are you and her seeing each other? What are you hiding? Now, Gary Condit, he doesn't come out and say, the fuck are you talking about? I was meeting with the vice president when she disappeared. So I got an airtight alibi. He didn't come out and say that. He ran around looking all guilty and shit. So, well, the thing is at the time, this is 2001, May 1st, 2001, she went missing, and that's when the whole, and at the time, like, there was just nothing going on in Washington. Washington was dead. Bush had already, everybody was like, Bush done finished his 100 days. He done everything he ran on, he's already got done by his 100th day, which wasn't that much. But everything was a big deal. But it's like, back then, the shit that happens in one day now is more than what happened in a year back. Back then, I mean, people didn't understand until, maybe can't reflect now. Shit didn't happen back then. It was always just like very slow roll. And then that all changed about right there. Like then Chandra Levy goes missing, and it's the only thing going on. So and it's not, and her mother comes from San Francisco here and starts talking to the media and hiring lawyers and making a big deal about it. And so they're like, a missing intern in D.C. And they're like, I guess we got to go out and look for her. They start going after Gary Condit, and he don't say, I was with the vice president. How in the hell can you blame it on me? He run around acting all funny. And at the same time, there's these things called rolling blackouts happening in California, where electricity would be cut off certain areas at certain times. Not certain times. They would just run out of electricity because Enron was manipulating their energy markets and using like just the derivatives markets to move shit around unrealistic. It was like they're moving money around, but it's actually affecting the energy markets and so it's during a heat wave in California, and old people whose air conditioning goes off for too long die. And so California is going through quite a thing over there, and this is where Chandra Levy and Gary Condit are from. And they're meeting all the time, having an affair, or, Mr. Congressman, I'm from your district. What the fuck tart is going on in California? Well, see, the thing is, she's an intern for the Bureau of Prisons as a conduit, not condit, a conduit to become an FBI agent, right? So what does she do in her spare time? Hell, maybe as an intern, she might do it on the job because she's sitting in front of a computer and fetching coffee or whatever. And so she's like, what the hell? Her mom says, can you find out why they keep turning off the electricity and it gets so doggone hot in here? And she says, yes, Mommy, I'll look into it. And she wants to be an FBI agent, so she starts digging around. She's like, oh my God. She starts finding out, what the hell? We're getting ripped off by these Enron motherfuckers. They're fucking with our goddamn electricity markets. So she goes to the Congressman, do you have a minute? I'm from your district. I want to talk about the role of... Oh, I ain't got time now. I ain't got time. Well, it's about Enron. Okay. Here's my number. Let me get with you later when there's no one around. So it leads to Condit setting a meeting with Cheney on his energy task force, which came to be known as the Enron task force because that's all it did. Had lots of secret meetings with Enron officials that nobody was allowed to know what the fuck they were talking about, and they still don't know what it's still like the big secret. Well, Condit goes, so here, now Gary Condit, the whole thing has got to do with Enron and a chemical additive gasoline called MTBE that's been polluting groundwater all over the world, and it's shit when they add it to gasoline. Well, the government required it because like Enron passed around a few $100 million. This is where the corruption in D.C. started in 1989, 1990. Enron comes to town around Bush and passes out hundreds of millions of dollars in fucking groovy money. You know, the money with the holes in it, lots of grooves. The easy money, easy Washington money. But this was like the beginning. This was like the first time they bribed everybody, and they went around the state capitals where they needed the support to get this MTBE shit. And I mean, they bribed the fuck out of so many people at once, and now they're all like, you know, and they're telling them this stuff's going to be good for the air. We just need to get it passed, you know, get it put into law. You know, even though they're allowed to put it in the gasoline without asking permission, they need it to be required to be put in the law. So then once they get the requirement, they say, well, now we need $1 trillion to build infrastructure to produce enough MTBE to add to the nation's gasoline. And so the federal government gives them a taxpayer insured loan for $1 trillion. And so, well, see, I mean, it's a really, really long story, and I'm trying to get it done before the hour. I'm trying to stick to the Chandra, Levy, Harris, Kamala Harris connection, and I can do another video that goes all into the details of what that $1 trillion. Because boy, see, the thing about it was this is where they came up with the Enron loophole, which is like if you can get, it's like. If they got the loan rated as cash, because since the government required the shit to be going to gasoline no matter what, then the loan was guaranteed to be paid off, and so they could book it as AAA and as cash, and then they could use the $1 trillion as reserve for $10 trillion in capital investment money all over fucking Wall Street. That's the money that crashed in 2008 and crashed the economy. Everything else about that is a lie. Well, it's not all a lie. It's just the story of how they covered it all, you know, of what happened when MTBE didn't sell so good. So anyway, that's what's going on with the Energy Task Force. Well, it was me. I followed this story since the fucking 90s. And I go up on Capitol Hill and bug them about it. Like, this stuff's shit. You're poisoning the air, the water, and it fucks up gasoline, costs mileage. It's stupid as fuck. And if you go through with it, I'm going to fuck you for it. And they laugh at me up on Capitol Hill like, who the hell are you? I mean, look at me. Right? And this is the way I am, and it puts them off their guard because they're like, oh, this fucking idiot. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to see, motherfuckers. They laugh at you when you say you're going to fucking. So anyway, so I fucked them on MTBE. And too many people start figuring out too many things about it. And they're like, hey, we ain't using this shit. They stopped buying this shit. I got Bill Clinton, who was his fucking vice president? Whoever is fucking Gore, the head of the EPA and the head of the agriculture, I pushed those motherfuckers to all come out one day and say, MTBE has got to be stopped being used right now, with no explanation. But it all followed. It was like right. It was like on a Sunday in the middle of. It was like it all followed some shit I pulled earlier in the week. So and I'm sensitive to MTBE and exhaust fumes. I mean, I know when they're using it, and it's like after the Clinton and them came out, the air was it was clean. It's like I got you motherfuckers. It's like. Now, let's see, how are you going to make your payments on your $1 trillion fucking loan? Well, then, that's why they brought Bush to town. Like, Bush 1 and Enron are the ones that got the $1 trillion loan and got the MTBE thing and all that shit and created the pyramid scheme of the $10 trillion capital investment money, which, like, the economy didn't need, and they just used it, just moved it around. They had all this secret capital investment money that they'd pay themselves to move billions around here and there that wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't worth anything. It was, they were AAA rating, they could say, I'm going to take this thing here and I'm going to value it at $1 billion and then write an insurance derivative that secures that value. And then it's worth $1 trillion because if it's not worth $1 trillion, I get $1 trillion in insurance in derivative payoffs. They did that with everything, and they're just moving money around, letting it build. And it was like a cyclonic pyramid scheme. It all just turning and turning, and all the insiders that got the original. Everybody in Washington were like, and their families and everybody, they're all like secret members of this free money whirlpool. Well, then MTBE is like, well, wait a minute. What happens to our world? The toilet's going to stop flushing if people stop buying MTBE. Well, they stopped fucking buying MTBE. So that was all the first Bush president. So then they had to bring the second Bush president in to fix it. And so he comes in. And Cheney comes up with his energy task force, which was secretly the Enron task force. While they're trying to figure out how are we going to get away with dealing with this $1 trillion without anybody finding out what the fuck we're doing. Meanwhile, Enron's over there raping California's economy because. California, they tested MTBE on California secretly back in the 80s, and it polluted a bunch of groundwater, which then is like nobody else knows it pollutes ground. Well, they knew it, but they weren't telling nobody. I mean, and nobody else had polluted groundwater yet, and just as they're going out and polluting everybody's groundwater when they start using this shit, California is saying, hey, man, this shit's polluted our groundwater. So they start lawsuits, and they're like, and so, like, before the fucking cat's even, in the bag, he's out of the bag, like everybody's like, wait, what's this shit poisoning groundwater? Didn't we just start adding it to gasoline everywhere? So they mask over all that. But see, Gary Condit is like the one congressman, because it's all in his district, who's got bill. He's been pushing to get rid of MPTBE. He's the only one, and he, at the time when she went missing, he's got a bill up there to get rid of it. He knows all about it, and she digs into it and finds out, and she goes to him, and then he meets with Cheney, and she disappears, and he starts acting all fucking weird and shit. Like, instead of saying, how the hell you gonna blame me for kidnapping her or killing her? I was with the vice president. Like, nobody was, the media everywhere in the world, Gary Condit had something to do. It was the only story going on the whole fucking planet. And her mother's running all around and the news was having a heyday, oh man, we didn't think we'd have anything to report on but the panda bears at the zoo or something, and like, oh man, now we got a dead girl, we got a congressman, it's like, well, you'd think you might make it a little more exciting if you add the part about Cheney meeting with Condit when she disappeared, but everybody, that all got... And then she goes and hired this fancy law firm. It's also an MTBE law firm that she don't know about. So anyway. So it goes round and round. Gary Condit, he gets run out of politics. I think he left the fucking country, but it goes round and round until 911. Like, that was the only story. That was the top story. Boom. It died at 911. Well, see, the other thing that happened in 911 was Enron crashed, too. Like, everything, there's all this stuff all happening right around 911 that was all getting ready. Because I'm the one breaking it. I'm on this side of that board pushing everybody. I'm pushing these cocksuckers out into the fucking open. And I'm sitting here like, it was the first day off I took from, like, sitting on the internet fucking busting people's nuts like all day long. Because I was like, I got them. I got these motherfuckers, man. It's only a matter of days. It's a matter of hours before the whole thing breaks open. Chandra, Levy, Enron, MTBE. The whole thing is coming down. Planes fly into buildings. And I was like, you motherfuckers. So here's the thing. At this time, here's Chandra Levy's mother. She's going. She is relentless. She is everywhere. She get anybody she can to try to fucking listen and try to just answer. What the hell? What happened to my daughter? Can somebody, and at the time, and they're all from San Francisco. They're all from up there, Gary Condit, San Francisco district up there, and at the time, Kamala Harris is, she ran the Family and Children's Service Division at City Hall. Okay? And that's from her boyfriend was Willie Brown, who was like the mayor. He was like the guy. He's Mr. fucking San Francisco. If you want anything in San Francisco government, politically, you get a blessing. You get the nod from Willie, and you're fucking in, right? Well, she's dating Willie Brown. Then he gets her appointed to the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board, and later the California Medical Assistance Commission. Then in February 1998, she got hired by Terrence Halliman to be assistant district attorney, where she became the chief of the career criminal division, supervising 5 other attorneys, where she prosecuted homicide, burglary, robbery, and sexual assault cases, particularly 3-strike, you're out cases. So then, though, in August 2000, she winds up taking this Family and Children's Services Division job at City Hall. You know, and I mean, when you hear people who have really dug into her career, like she brags about all the being a tough prosecutor and all that, and they dig into it, and actually she didn't do much of that. She was she kind of just faking her way through everything, the way, you know, it kind of looks when you watch her and listen to her talk. And say, hell, well, she must be on something, or was on something then, because this broad did not do all the stuff. She not this same kind. Maybe her body did, but her brain must have been different. So So it looks like a validation of that, you know. She's the head of all this criminal, burglary, robbery, and then she winds up with what that looks like to me is a downgrade. Children's Services Division, you know, like she would have been out on her ass, say, look, lady, I don't know, man, you might want to go be a slip and fall lawyer. You might be good at that, but. Willie Brown, you know, I mean, even when they weren't dating, they were supposed to be stayed close, and he was always there to advise her and assist her in her political maneuverings. And so it looks like a downgrade, you know. So here she is, she's over at Children's Services Division, child abuse and neglect cases. Probably mad. It's not fair. It's because I'm, I don't know what color. I mean, it's because I'm not white. I don't know nobody really knows what I am, but it's because I'm not white, so I can say that. That must be the problem. Even though there's all these even though Willie Brown's black and he's the king of the town, I got demoted because I'm a woman. Whatever the excuse was, in comes Chandra Levy's mother. Kamala does a little digging, stumbles across, wait a minute. Gary Condit was meeting with the vice president when she went missing. Everybody's got it wrong. Oh my God, I'm a genius. I've got my, I solved the case. So she goes running around, everybody like, whoa. You didn't get the memo. Well, I'm not read in. I don't have a security. I'm just a lowly person they're trying to get rid of, but Willie Brown used to date me. Oh, well, we don't talk about that, you know, because Dick Cheney, like Enron, you know, like that's all above the American people's pay grade. You know, the word came down from the top. We're going to hang this around Gary Condit's neck, even though the obvious is he was in a meeting with the vice president when she went missing, which nobody was talking about. Even if there was a way to say, well, he must have hired some nefarious people to do it while he had the perfect alibi. That's what happened. See, he said, all right, you get her when I'm in there meeting with the vice president so they can't pin it on me. Well, nobody was saying that either. It was just like the fact that he was with the vice president wasn't part of the story. Even though it was a better story if it had been, you know, so so she runs around. Well, see, this is where you see, like, Louis Renee, the one who hired her to be the Children's Services Division Director or whatever, she leaves her office and goes back to just a regular law practice about this just after all that. I swear I read somewhere that her daughter died, and so she just, left politics, and which made me wonder, because when they need to give you a little push, they don't just tell you, because you might go to a lawyer or the news media. No, they kill somebody around you, and they wink at you somewhere. Some stranger will wink at you, and you go, and you get scared. So anyway, and then now Nancy Pelosi is also from this same district, along with this judge that just got arrested for some hiding Tren de Aragua in his garage or something shit. He's from there, and I haven't looked into it, but that's probably all connects right back into with all this bullshit. And I know how, because I was probably the one who pushed the buttons, because that's, I'm the rat in the wall you can't catch, it's like, but all I've ever asked is like I said, I don't appreciate that I have to do this shit, any of it. It's like, I got better shit to do, but these fucktards are gonna, by the time I get done what I want to do, they're going to blow the fucking world up over something that makes absolutely no motherfucking sense. Like Israel and Ukraine and Iraq and 911, because 911, there's lots of questions. Like, I got questions about that, but we're not doing that one today. Anyhow, from then, her career takes a big turn. Harris is, her boss's career ends, and she starts working her way up to district attorney of San Francisco to attorney general of California. And Nancy Pelosi winds up going from just a congresswoman to the minority whip and then the majority. Her career jumped too, because of course Kamala Harris ran to Nancy Pelosi and said, Congresswoman, do you got a minute? I just uncovered the scandal of the century. Gary Condit was meeting with the vice president when Chandra went missing. Nancy Pelosi okay. Well, see, then Nancy Pelosi goes up probably to Dianne Feinstein, and Dianne Feinstein says, all right, guys, you are not read in all this. This is above your pay grade. Shut the fuck up. And they go, I'm not, but they're like, they've already counted their chickens before they had it. It's like, wait, we were going to ride this uncovering of the big scandal to greater success. And now you're just telling us to shut the fuck up. And so then Feinstein says, oh, don't worry, we'll take care. We'll give you a special pass to get to rise in the. You can rise up right. It's how I got here. You can just start climbing the ladder of secret, behind the scenes success like the rest of us do. So Kamala starts working her way up. And then, as talked about before, then she runs for vice president. And, she runs for president. And in the debate, she calls Biden out on being a racist. How his past record against busing or segregation, the whole bunch of stuff. He was a racist. He's a fucking Ku Klux Klan or some shit. And then, like all them guys, leopards and shit. Changed their stripes. And so, And then she was just thrown out for being a horrible candidate, and well, because she pissed off the Bidens and the Obamas, calling out Joe like that. I mean, she calls out Joe like that, and he'd just been through 8 years of Obama's vice president. So basically, she's saying Obama had a racist for a vice president. True or not, it's like, okay, you're done. And I mean, you go back and look, it's like everybody, they just laughed at Democrats, not Republicans. Republicans said, oh, I hope she does get to be run for president. We can beat her a hell of a lot easier than Biden, or, than the rest of them. She's the easiest beat, and they knew it. They threw her out. Next thing you know, she's chosen for vice president after the whole we went over George Floyd thing and all that. And another really obvious one for somebody with some deep state prosecutorial history in her career would spot the fact that, wait a minute, the cop that killed George Floyd a few minutes before the Secret Service got there worked with Floyd Harris at a bar, a nefarious bar, a nightclub, a place where lots of things happen at night. And the cop worked there, and they were both worked in security, and they knew each other. Oh, shit. And I mean, it's the kind of place where, part of the underground economy at that place and the streets is counterfeit money. It's got its own way of doing things. Now, what these fucktards did, I still kind of wonder about, organized crime when they're like using counterfeit money as a fiat currency, when it's perfectly legal for them to come up with their own fiat currencies like Bitcoin or something, I mean, now Bitcoin does that shit, it's like, but they were using counterfeit money, so every time somebody fucked up, the Secret Service comes in. And then they got to kill the motherfucker. The motherfucker going to, they can't buy off the Secret Service. They might buy off one here and there so they can shoot the president in the ear whenever they want to, but that's like CIA. That's above CIA. That's like above NSA. That's like street fucking secret CIA assassins and shit. What do they call that? I can never think of it. Anyway, so she gets to be vice president pretty obviously on that. She's like, oh yeah, well, the same way she got to be work her way up into the San Francisco Attorney General's office. She's like, well, you better give me something or I'm going to tell everybody about Gary Condit and Chandra Levy and Enron and all that shit. So she's playing the same game. She's down there like, if you don't make me your vice president, I'm going to tell everybody about y'all. Everybody's lying about George Floyd, causing riots everywhere. Nobody's calling out the truth, even on the right. See, that's where you have to, when you start seeing this stuff and you say, yeah, but why didn't the people if the right are so goddamn good, why didn't they fucking point it out? And end that shit. Black Lives Matter was the same thing. A bunch of fucking bullshit. A bunch of kids saying, our city is run by this crooked underworld that's like the cops and the criminals are all on the same side, and they run around harassing us and locking us up because they need to make it look like they're doing their jobs. So they lock up all the good kids that are just, we're easy to handle, we're easy to lock up, we don't cause nobody. We were just going to school and working at McDonald's trying to save up enough money to go to college and get the fuck out of these goddamn streets. And that's what Black Lives Matter started as, but they couldn't go out and say that. If you watch all the original wordings in the protests, it was like they were against not the police, they were against the police harassing them when they were the good kids. It's like, go after the fucking crooks. But they couldn't say that because the crooks is like their cousin and their brother, like, it's all like, well, they had a lot of nuts to stand up and say anything, and then it all got twisted around into this racial police, Blue Lives Matter. It's like, no, man, they're saying they don't like this shit where the underworld and the overworld are all kind of one clique, and they cover each other's asses, and it's supposed to be like, well, that keeps wars from breaking out in cities and urban over territory, gang wars over territory. If the police chooses the gang they want to support, then they use the gang, their affiliation to keep any other gangs from taking over, and there's less wars. But it sets up this, it's like, look, the underworld's going to happen anyway. That crack's going to get sold, It's like, so it's better we go along and get along than to try to fucking just stop it, which will never happen. Well, then you wind up with this whole, crooked cops, crooked crooks, and then somebody's got to go to jail, so they lock up the good kids, and then the good kids get turned into criminals, and well, it's just this vicious fucking cycle, and it's stupid as fuck. and so Kamala Harris going to blow lid on all that shit. Whoa, boom, man. She's going to be the vice president now. Then when it comes time to run for president, she's going to be like, they're like, well, Joe's got to go. He's retarded. He's dementia. And we don't want you because, like, you make less sense than he does. And she's like, well, too bad. I'm your guy. And they're like, they argue and argue, and they're finally goes, well, I'm going out here and telling. Well, actually, I think they meant for her to go out there and announce one thing, and she went out there and announced what she wanted. And then she did the same thing with Tim Walz. They didn't want him for the vice president. They wanted this Jew in fucking in Delaware, Jersey, I don't know, Shapiro or something. They want the guy who's the governor of Massachusetts, maybe? I don't know. Somebody just burned down his fucking house. Some radical fucking just burned down it, or did something stupid, right? And so, but see, then Tampon Tim, he's the governor of Minnesota where all the George Floyd stuff happened. So he had to sign off on, like, tamp down the whole George Floyd, the cop, Derek Chauvin, worked at the same bar. The Secret Service was going to be showing up anytime then. And Floyd had such a long record that, he'd only, they all know the way the game's played, and so does Floyd. Is like, like why did Floyd wait around after the $20 bill incident? He sat out front of the fucking place, because he's waiting for the Secret Service to show up, but the cops get there first, and he's like, don't kill me, because he knows they gotta kill him because otherwise he's gonna be talking to the Secret Service, and they're gonna be charging with something that's gonna get him a lot of time because of his criminal record, and so he's going to say, well, I'll give you the whole city if you, put me in, protected custody. And but Tampon Tim had to go along with that shit. So she chooses him because she needs somebody she can control, that somebody that's fucking, that she's got her tentacles into Biden over the whole George Floyd thing. Now she's got the governor from Minnesota as her vice president. So she's surrounded by people that got to they got to go along with her. She'll fuck them all. And see, then you got to look at like Liz Cheney And everything she did about January 6th, she was like the only Republican, like, she was pushing harder than the Democrats. That the January 6th was an insurrection and the country is the future of the country's at stake. And I mean, everybody knows the real fucking story, even the Democrats that are lying about it. But and so she's out there, she's ending her political career. She's falling on a sword. Why? Well, because if Trump gets reelected, then he didn't drain the swamp in his first term because he needed the Republican. He didn't want to blow Washington up until his second term, till he didn't have to worry about a third term. It's like everybody knew this motherfucker, when he gets to his second term, he's gonna rip through everybody because he's got nothing to lose anymore. And so Liz Cheney's like, and so she has to fight for that shit. Well, see, then she comes out for Kamala Harris too. See, that's the other connection, Like, how the hell did Kamala Harris get Liz Cheney to stump for her running for president? Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, Enron task force. Like, it's all, Yeah, but see, then you got to think, Kamala Harris, like, if she had lost by a little, then the Democrats on the left, they could have took that as a mandate to holler and scream. They cheated, they would have gotten riots in the streets. Like right after the election. That's what everybody was expecting. Everybody's like, this is a lose-lose. Because either Kamala Harris wins and she sucks. Democracy everywhere is over if she wins. Because it was almost over with Biden. And so, or Trump wins and they all go crazy. They start George Floyding on steroids. They start burning down. They Black Lives Matter, Antifa, every other damn great. It's like, Democrats will push. But see, when Trump won by such a landslide, it was like everybody just wake up the next morning like, huh? I mean, it just like, and then California catches on fire. It's like just about the time you expected it all regroup. It was quiet after the election, which was unexpected, except for the fact that Trump won by such a wide margin that it caused the left pause. And just about the time you expect them to regroup, California catches on fire and burns down all the biggest houses who are going to regroup and come after Trump. It was like a sign. I still got 12 minutes left, so I'll go ahead and point out, like, okay, the fire starts on January 7th, day after January 6th. It was like January 6th went off here without a hitch. There was just nothing there. It was like Trump won so fucking, with such a strong mandate, there was just like no momentum to burn down D.C. on January 6th. L.A. catches fire on January 7th. Now, the thing is, Joe Biden showed up in L.A. on January 6th to go do some kind of Indian tribe, protect Indian lands from oil drillers thing out in the desert, out in Coachella or something, or by that sea, the Dead Sea of the California. What's it called? I forget what it's called. But meanwhile, Hunter Biden has Joe Biden's grandson right there in the hospital down the street from where Joe is staying in L.A., readying himself to go to this Indian tribe signing. The fires start. Meanwhile, the mayor has gone to Ghana for the inauguration of a president in Ghana. And her guy, who's in charge of the fire department and the police and all that, the week before, he gets run out. I think he got arrested, for calling in a bomb threat to his own office, to the city hall or some shit, that he said was nuts. He's like, what the hell are you people talking about? Now, I don't know. I didn't find any follow-up on it, but it's just like, okay, so the mayor's gone, and the guy she's left in charge of the fire department is just prior to that been run out of office for calling in a bomb threat. Okay, that's a good one. And then Joe Biden is showing. So the fires are raging, and Joe Biden, he shows up at the fire department to talk to the fire chiefs and shit. And he's like the guy. The mayor's not there. He's talking directly to the regular fire guys. And it actually looks like he's something, because he's the biggest guy in the room, and he, it's like no matter how little sense he makes, well, I mean, it looked like, Meanwhile, Hunter house is like the only one in the neighborhood that didn't burn down. No worries. The place where his millions and millions of dollars worth of paintings that he's painted that haven't been sold yet, they're in a storage facility that did burn down. I mean, it's like, yeah, but see, then you got to look at the way these people, I mean, like, that's a whole another video too, but, the way I know these people here, the Washington, D.C., the deep state cult here, okay? They would look at Kamala Harris losing or Trump winning so big, they would need somebody to pin it on. They say, it was, they're going to blame their own voters. You guys didn't try hard enough. It's like, and who's their central core voters? It's right there in fucking L.A., like, they're the people that could have made a difference. Hollywood didn't come out strong enough for Kamala Harris. Well, let's just leave posterity with a note not to ever fuck with us again. If we're running for office, you better damn sure see we get elected. There's some of that in there too, but there's just always all these nuances that make you go, huh? Like, how did all that, you mean Joe Biden, like January 6th, L.A. burning down January 7th, but Joe Biden's in January 6th. He's showing up at fucking L.A. His son's having a baby. And the mayor's out of town. The fire department guy's is gone. They're just, L.A. is rudderless. Joe Biden to the rescue. And then the whole Hunter Biden's house thing. And there's probably details I've left out, but it's like, when you got that many things coming together, you got to go, well, I don't see how they orchestrate stuff like this. But then but you start looking at, well, how in the hell did they lie about COVID? How did they pull all that crap off? I mean, there was only one way to beat Trump in 2020, and that didn't even work. They had to cheat anyway with the Hunter laptop thing, and they probably did cheat all those election machines. Excuse me. Excuse me again. But, like, they needed to destroy the economy to have a chance of winning. COVID comes along and everybody lies and lies and lies. And they even they shut down the economy. And while the experts were saying, you ain't got to do that. It ain't that bad. No, that's a bad idea. That's counterproductive. It's like, and they just kept pushing and rioting and anything they could to put a dent in Trump's economy to win, and it's like, and nobody was coming out and saying this is what they're doing. Like, people were complaining. Why don't anybody ever go the distance? Why wouldn't they say Dick Cheney was meeting with Gary Condit? Why wouldn't they say it doesn't matter if it came from a lab or not? The Chinese didn't tell us they didn't tell the world COVID was coming if it came from nature, they covered up the fact that it was getting ready to hit the whole world for months until it was too late. It's like, that was the issue. It didn't matter if it came from a lab purposely. It's like, that's a later point. The original point is, you motherfuckers just committed it's like right now. I'll bet you go to some intelligence NSA think tank that comes up with all kinds of gross plans to destroy the human race in order to, in the name of national security. And they got the scenario where a virus breaks out from nature, a deadly, deadly virus breaks out from nature. And they don't tell nobody. They put the guy who has it on a plane and sends it to Russia. And don't tell nobody because we're going to kill the Russians with our secret virus that came from a rat. See? And then, it breaks out everywhere and kills everybody or something. But, it's like, but the Chinese did it, and everybody it came from a lab or it did. That. No. This is the beginning. They just launched a biological attack on the rest of the human race, not telling anybody. Like, you don't think the Chinese are not sophisticated enough to know they need to tell everybody? No, they're sophisticated enough to know, yeah, don't tell anybody, man, because then we can start, then Fauci's all involved in the whole thing, so it's like the Democrats purposely fucking attacked us with a lab leak, and in order to destroy the economy, and then they got out there and they push until they shut the economy down, and it didn't work, and so they had to lie and cheat and everything to win, to get Biden in office any fucking way. And that's just like, that's the point I'm making, is like, how in the hell did they stage the California fires the way you say? You realize how many gears and people had to be involved in secrets and lies and shit? It's like, oh, well, we got no precedent for that now, do we? Hell no. Actually, it just seems to be business as fucking usual anymore, if you're fucking paying attention. Any fucking way. Oh, look. Nobody knows who that is. Oh, look. He's twitching his ear like Carol Burnett. He must be saying hi to somebody. Hi, somebody. All right, time to go. I got like 40 seconds left. All right, I finally got this shit done. It's 11:14. See? fucked up my whole morning. But I'll feel good for the rest of the day knowing I'm going to slam this shit out here for you fucktards. And whether anybody ever hears about it enough, you will, and it'll keep you awake at night and help me sleep better. Thank you.